Hey guys, welcome back to the Full Court Press podcast. We know it's been a while, but we are back. We're all really busy. We all go to university. Obviously, there's a lot of work, and we haven't really had time to get together and talk
Sit down and talk about
about
sports.
sports. And finally, when we had some time, we decided that that's the first thing we should do. So here we are, as usual. I'm Dheeraj. Aaron's to my right, and Adwaita's below us because he's shorter than us. And there's quite a bit to go through since the last time we spoke, since the last time we did a podcast. I mean, you had the NBA conference finals, the NBA finals. I mean, you had the IPL go on. You had the Premier League restart. Not the Premier League restart, but you had
The
like
new season started, yeah.
yeah, the new Premier League season started and it's been going on for a bit now. Champions League football coming in a couple of days. You guys won't know much about that. I do. Um,
It's okay.
so
You
We
won't know about it sooner.
yeah, sooner or later, bro.
yeah, no, I'm not. I like Arsenal. I think they'll be good soon. But okay, we're getting off track. So first of all, guys, how are you guys doing? How have you been in the past couple of weeks?
Doing
How's
good, bro.
everything
Just
going?
not stressed out, man. Too much work.
I can relate.
I'm
Aaron,
chilling.
yeah, Aaron.
That's a
I'm
lie.
chilling. We
Yeah.
obviously know why I'm chilling, but I'm chilling.
Aaron says
I'll be chilling for the next year or so.
yeah, Aaron isn't chilling, but he's also chilling. And this is a very nice segue into our first topic, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James and Anthony Davis winning the NBA championship for this season. First of all, guys, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's an asterisk that comes with this championship win?
I'll start off by saying no, because I think one thing we learned from from the bubble experience was that it was extremely evident that the teams who loved basketball purely for the sport and what it actually means were the teams in the final. People who didn't have the mental edge or who didn't want to be there were the ones who didn't manage to make it through. In terms of competitiveness, I think we saw extremely good basketball throughout. The level was something you would see in the playoffs. The only thing missing were the fans, but I think in terms of competitiveness and uh, the drama and everything that we've seen, I think it was the perfect experience from a basketball standpoint. I don't think you can actually have a better viewing experience.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's an asterisk. And he was right about the competitiveness. I think every team kind of brought their A game. And I think it's slightly unfair to say that the teams who didn't make the finals didn't make their A game. I thought everybody, you know, uh, showed out. Credit to all the teams that kind of participated, made the playoffs, made this thing happen. It was pretty cool as like from like a fan point of view. It was really cool to see basketball back and the intensity and everything. So yeah, but I think uh, I'm not saying the reason I say it's not an asterisk mark is because I think they're the favorites to win the league next season as well. So I
Um,
think they could have done it even if the fans were there. I mean, with or without the fans. So, yeah. But it was a big step
You
forward for
vote for calling the
basketball.
Clippers. You were calling the Clippers vote
Yeah,
of
I
you.
was
I'm
calling
just
it
saying.
Clippers. No, but they're still the favorites, bro.
I mean, I thought that I was pretty sure that the Lakers would make the finals from the Western Conference. From the Eastern Conference, I wasn't sure. Obviously, I had my heart broken as my team forgot how to drive into the paint and just kept chucking up threes from the outside and gave me like I don't know what is a cardiac arrest of the most extreme form. I was just so irritated by the fact that the Celtics didn't just drive the ball into the paint in game six. We had
Yeah,
the
that's kind
lead,
of sad.
leading by 6 points
They
with 8
didn't. They
minutes to
don't.
go in the
I don't
fourth
know what
quarter.
he's doing.
Okay, I think I'm talking about the Celtics too much, but I think this is a good learning experience. Obviously, we're still a very, very young team. We have two of the best young players in the league. I think the Lakers deserve to win. 100% the Lakers
Dheeraj,
deserve to win.
I'm going to cut you off right there. I'm going to ask you a question,
Hmm.
especially from a Celtics fan perspective, because we've heard the Celtics are a young team for like the past 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
but I feel like this year you had okay, fine, against the Heat. I would have picked you guys because you had the better team, right,
Yeah.
Yeah,
on paper. And credit to the Miami Heat because they played incredible defense against you
incredible.
guys. And I also think Spo actually outcoached Brad Stevens, which is a hard thing to do, but he did that. And I also feel Jason Tatum, he wasn't the superstar. He was good. He was extremely good, but he wasn't the superstar he needed to be to beat the Heat. But my question to you is, the East is actually getting better, and
Yeah.
Miami will get more experience from this. Giannis will definitely have to learn something from what actually happened this year, and he will come back with a vengeance. And we've got the Nets coming back next year
Yeah.
with KD and Kyrie. And KD, in my opinion, if he is the KD that we all know and love, he's probably going to be the best player in that conference. So, what are your hopes for next season,
My hopes for next season.
especially with teams like that?
Yeah, okay. I want to get to the finals because that we've been. I want to get to the final. Even if we don't win the championship, I'm okay with that. I want to get to the finals, okay? Because we keep hitting this hump of the conference finals. It's been three times in the last 4 years, and this year was our best chance. Definitely our best chance, and it's just so fucking upsetting that we couldn't get through. I was so annoyed. Like I remember texting. I was in tears after that Bam block in game one. I remember texting Aaron
Oh
about
yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and I basically
He showed
lost my
up though.
and
But
He
that, to
showed
be
up.
fair, I think that's probably either the best, second best block in NBA playoffs history. Depends on what you say. I personally would say
it's
LeBron's, but
definitely
then
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of the best.
it's
100%.
one
And
of
I
the
think
hardest
LeBron has the
No,
most
look,
amount
look,
of
look. Okay,
cold
look.
hitting
Anybody
blocks.
who thinks that block is better than LeBron's is stripping. Anybody who thinks that any block is better than LeBron's is stripping. It's the second best block. Like it's first. It's like LeBron is first by some distance. I mean, game seven with like a couple of minutes left on the clock, tie game, away from home. I mean, it's look. I don't think it's close. But the Bam block was
top
obviously an
five
amazing play,
environment.
I
and I
think I
just think
think level of difficulty wise it's similar, but stakes obviously LeBron's is much more
yeah. But the
Yeah.
thing,
bigger.
okay, Aaron, to answer your question about the Celtics, here's what I think. If you look at our team, I think Gordon Hayward, although he's a very good player, I
Always
think
been injured.
he needs to be traded for a big. If I'm being honest, we lack that presence in the paint. A player like Ennis Cantor is really good. Like he provided a lot of energy in the playoffs, especially in the series against Miami. I feel like if we played him more, we might have had a chance of at least getting it to a game seven because he was very valuable. Um, I mean, he got quite a few points in the game. Like he was kind of like a mismatch with Kelly Olynyk when Bam went off the floor. And I feel like we could have used him more and better. But I think Celtics need a proper big man, a starting big. And I feel that even if it's a player like, okay, let's see, Miles Turner, for example, if we trade Gordon Hayward to the Pacers for Miles Turner, work something out there, I think he'd be a good get. Um, or a player like that, a player who is actually dominant in the middle, a player who can block shots, who can rebound, and who can shoot a bit. Also, obviously, Milestone is a good shooting big. I think that's what we lack. Obviously, I think we have one of the best wing partnerships in the league for quite a few years to come. I think Jason Tatum's going to re-sign this year, this off season, and for the next 4 5 years, we're going to have one of the best 1-2 punches in the league. But we need to make sure we make that count because we've seen a lot of great 1-2 punches in the league not win an NBA championship. And if Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown are the talented players we think they are, they have to win a championship. And
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's enough about the Celtics. I feel like I've been talking about this for too much. Um, Obviously, the Lakers. I think I want to actually talk about the Miami Heat a little bit. This team. I mean, if you look at the starting five, you have a point guard who was discarded by the Phoenix Suns and who has spent his last 5 years playing in Miami and I mean, in the last couple of years he's elevated to the level of an all-star and he was in Goran Dragic obviously,
Yeah.
and he was a leading scorer in the playoffs. Then at the two guard you had
Yeah.
I mean an undrafted free agent who used to play D3 basketball and is now probably one of the best spot-up shooters in the league. Again, at
Yeah.
the three you have Jimmy Butler, the star of the team again, a man who constantly embraces that underdog tag and probably put up one of the best finals performances we've ever seen in game three, right? Yeah, game
Yeah.
three we saw one of the best
Game three.
finals. Like 40-point triple double was insane. And then
And he had another triple double game six.
in
Game three and game five.
game five
Game five and game
he,
five.
he
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 had
was
two
on
triple
the
doubles.
phone.
Game three was his best performance, but game five he was
Game five, he spent
incredible as well.
like 47 minutes and like 15 seconds on the floor or something. This dude did not go off the floor. He did not get substituted. It was crazy. He could barely walk after the game. And then at the 4 year, Jay Crowder was traded from the Celtics, traded from the Cavs. Obviously, I think it
But I
was
think he fits in this Miami team the best out of the
yeah,
teams he was
and he
playing.
does a job. And then obviously, center you have Bam Adebayo, who was looked at as a draft bust after the last couple of seasons, and this year he's really elevated to become one of the top five bigs in the league for sure, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
Off the bench, you have players like I think Tyler Hero is going to become one of the best scorers in the league. I think he is going to be one of the best scorers in the league. This guy has incredible
This guy has
confidence and
everything.
talent,
He has the swagger too. He has everything.
and he plays hard. He plays hard. All of these Miami Heat players, they play hard, and I have to really, really appreciate that about
Credit
them.
Jimmy Butler for that
And
and
I
Pat
think
Riley.
Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, these dudes bought.
Yeah, it's just the culture, just the
Yeah,
The
general
they're the
culture
culture
we've
culture.
is
seen for
one
so
of
long.
winning, is one of winning, and I have to. I mean, I have to praise them. Like, what do you guys think about the Miami Heat? They were insane.
Yep. I think they've been the standout team in this bubble for me. Because I mean, apart from us, like because we actually watched basketball and we knew that there was like a huge mismatch the Bucks game and the Heat game, right? The Bucks series. But I mean, from a like if from just a casual fan standpoint, nobody would have given Miami Heat half a chance.
Mhm.
I think everybody would say they would beat the Pacers, but then nobody would say they would beat the Bucks. I for sure as hell would have thought that. I mean, I didn't think they would beat the Celtics, and then obviously nobody gave them a chance in the finals. But the fact that they beat all odds to make it to the finals with such an inexperienced team, like except Jimmy Butler and a few others, I don't think anybody else has playoff experience on that team. I'm discounting the coaches and the staff, but just the players as a whole. And then he carried that team. The one knock I had on Jimmy Butler was that I didn't know how good of a leader he was, and he showed me how well of a leader he is on this Miami Heat team.
Mhm.
I think for like we haven't like he's been discounted because of Derrick Rose when he was with the Bulls, when he was with the Timberwolves, there were too many fights. The 76ers have never had chemistry for like a long time now. I knew that was the problem. I knew Jimmy wouldn't be a good fit there. And I think it was a point for him to prove that, hey, I'm a good system player. I'm one of the best shooting guards in the league, and I like to be a leader on this young team. And he took it on his chin, and he took criticism on his chin, and he proved to everybody that he can carry an inexperienced young team to the damn finals.
Okay, let me just say one thing. We were like in this podcast, we were planning to talk a lot about basketball, football, cricket, this, that, and the other. But there's so much to cover in terms of in terms of the NBA, in terms of the coaching changes, the upcoming draft, things like that. I think we're just gonna make this an NBA podcast and maybe deal with the other things later. Maybe we'll come to football towards the end, but I think we need to talk about the NBA because there's so much happening. And obviously, with the three of us, like we love the NBA, and the basketball is probably like it's like I mean, our podcast is named after a basketball defensive tactic, so you should know what we prioritize.
Yeah.
So, so I think we're gonna make this an NBA podcast. But yes, coming back to the point, Aaron, what do you think about the Miami Heat?
I'm just impressed. I think, like Advaita said, I would have to include the Nuggets alongside Miami as the two teams that impressed me the most. Denver again, we spoke. I think we haven't spoken about them yet. We'll come to that. But Miami, I mean, they just impressed me, man. Like one thing I knew coming into that finals was that um, defensively, Spo will always have something up his sleeve. So they would be able to have multiple coverages. So I felt that um, on offense is where they would have a slight struggle. But the thing is, they didn't. I mean, they had a few bad games, but then it really wasn't that bad for them purely because they had multiple players come up and just show up. Duncan Robinson,
Oh,
D3
Duncan
player, former
Robinson.
Michigan player, he showed up towards the end and he was getting better as each game went.
Nice plug.
Yeah.
Um, I know.
Nice luck.
um, uh, what else? Bam got injured, and I felt like in the finals he couldn't show how dominant he was, like what he did against the Celtics. But I think he'll probably eventually become. He already is a franchise player for the Heat, but he'll probably take over Jimmy's leadership role within the next 3 4 years maybe because he's sensational and he represents what Miami's all about. They have a lot of young pieces, and more than that, I think this finals experience it not only helped them because it's actually given them proper playoff experience, and the young players know what they have to do in the future to actually get there. More than that, again, it's Miami. People want to come there, and I think it's just elevated their stock to free agents in the 2021 season. And I would be extremely surprised if a big free agent if a big free agent doesn't land in Miami in 2021, whether it's Giannis or someone else, because Miami is Miami is a place where the culture will always be there, and you will be pushed to your hardest. So you can always expect Miami to give it a good shout and give it their best whenever they're playing.
Yeah.
So credit
Yep.
credit to them.
Yes. A quick sidebar. Abdu, the Titans Texans is going to overtime. I think that the Titans had a touchdown with 4 seconds left in the game in regular
I've been saying this
in
for a
overtime.
long
So it's 36.
Deshaun Watson is an
Not the
all pro.
Texans, the Titans. The Titans had a touchdown at the end. Abdu.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Quick sidebar there. Again, Miami Heat, amazing team. I think they have a lot going for them in the future. And I think if you look at next season, I think you have five great teams in the Eastern Conference that are all going to compete. You have the Nets, obviously. You have the Bucks. You have the Raptors. You have the Celtics, and you have the Miami Heat. You have five teams that are as good as any team. You have five teams that could. I mean, if you think about the worst of those teams, you probably say that it's the Raptors, right? But the Raptors are the team that made it to the that are the most recent NBA champions from the Eastern Conference. And yes, they lost Kawhi Leonard, but they're still an excellent team. They pushed the Celtics to 7 games, and that team clearly has something about them. And I think that's also an extremely attractive spot for free agents.
I think Toronto. I think Toronto's low key gonna blow it up
Yeah.
because they have too many big contracts, and they're another team who wants to be in the honor sweepstakes next year. A lot of teams like Toronto, like Dallas, like Miami, they will want to clear up some cap space because they know a player like Giannis is going to be free in 2021.
Okay, so now again, since we're talking about the teams that impressed us most, okay, let's talk about the Lakers first, okay? Because obviously now they're NBA champions.
No, no, wait,
LeBron.
let's get to that loss. Let's
No,
go
no,
to
no, no.
let's go
Aaron,
to
no, Aaron, no. It's okay, Aaron. Let's have your fun times now.
no,
Let's
but
do that
that's
now.
the champion, right? That's the
Okay,
champion. Let's
fine.
end
Okay,
with the
fine, fine.
Lakers.
Okay, guys, the Denver Nuggets. I mean, it's
Say
insane.
what you
Like
think.
I don't know how they did what they did, but in my opinion, I look at a player like Nikola Jokic. A dude was the 46th pick in the draft. I mean, he wasn't even a first rounder. He was barely. He was taken midway through the second round, and this dude is he's the best big man in the league. Okay, let's be honest. He is the best center in the league, and this dude he has this passing ability that's you've never seen it in a big man before. You've never seen it. The way this guy sees the court is insane. I remember this one play in Game Seven, Clippers Nuggets. We did our last podcast right before Game Seven, and we all said there's no way the Clippers are going to blow it, and then they did. We'll get to the Clippers in a second, but I remember 15 seconds to go. The Nuggets were winning by like 20 points or something,
What
and
part of me thought the Clippers would win?
Jokic gets the ball on the block. And I thought, okay, he's probably just going to post him and just like hold the ball out till the game's over. And this dude just makes a pass. And I'm looking at the entire screen and I didn't see where the cut was happening. I didn't see where I think it was like Jeremy Grant or somebody that was making the run, making like a cut inside into the paint. And I didn't see that looking at the whole screen. And Jokic was looking the other way. And somehow he had a sense that was happening and made it behind the back pass to him. And to me, that one play, like, it just exemplifies everything that Nikola Jokic is all about. First of all, he's clutch. He proved that to us in the playoffs this year. Second of all, he has insane passing ability. And third of all, he's much tougher than we all thought. I thought there was a very distinct point in the Lakers Nuggets series where the series could have gone the other way, which was obviously game three when Anthony Davis hit the buzzer beating three. Uh, and if that doesn't happen,
Game
who
two, game
knows?
two, game two.
No, it was game three. It was 1-1, and then game three. If the Nuggets had won
No,
that,
no, the game three wasn't
No,
the game
the
the
Lakers were
Nuggets
up
won.
2-0, right?
no, the
I remember the Lakers were up
no,
2-0.
The
the
Lakers
Lakers.
were up 1-0. We won the second game through the buzzer beater, and then the Nuggets
Hold
Yeah,
came
on,
the
back.
Lakers
hold
were
on,
up
hold on.
2-0.
Let me prove this. Wait 1 second.
I'm like 99.5% sure,
I'm
mate.
pretty sure it was
Trust me
game
on
three.
this.
Let me just check.
Yeah, Lakers lead 2-0. Lakers lead 2-0. Yeah, Davis hit the buzzer beater. They wore their Mamba jerseys that game, I think.
Ah,
Yeah.
shit, you're right. Yeah, it was game two.
We wore the Mamba jerseys for each game too.
Yeah, you guys are right. Yeah, it was game two. It was game two. My bad. And I mean, who knows if he hits that buzzer beater, it could have been. I mean, I mean the it could have been 1-1, and then the Nuggets win game three. It could have been 2-1. Like, who knows what could have happened if that had happened. And I think the Nuggets are a great team going forward. Jamal Murray, obviously a star. I mean, this dude isn't scared of anybody, and he barely make the mad thing to me is he doesn't
Jamal Murray has been insane.
he doesn't like he's like you know how we talk about Russell Westbrook being a volume scorer and how he like takes a lot of shots, but then
He's not afraid to shoot.
we obviously say that Russell Westbrook also turns the ball over a lot, right? Jamal Murray, I remember in the first series against the Jazz, he scored 97 points in over 2 games without turning the ball over. And that's insane to me because the number one thing that most NBA coaches look at when they're trying to figure out how to win a game is the turnover differential. It's one of the most important things in an NBA game, right? If you turn the ball over less, another thing that plagued the Celtics in the conference finals, by the way, if you turn the ball over less, you're more likely to win a game. And Jamal Murray did not turn the ball over, and he's just a star to me. I mean, it's insane. He's so good. What
I
do you guys
think
think about the Nuggets?
the
Yeah.
biggest thing with him is he's not afraid to take that shot. He's not afraid to take that shot during big moments in the game. And I think he was there. He was there. I mean, I would put him as their number one player that series, all series,
True, true, true,
the
true.
whole thing. Even though Jokic is special,
I love Jokic. I think it was Jokic, but I wouldn't argue with you. I think there's a very valid argument to be made for that.
I think Jokic was the best player on that team, but in that series, Jamal was
Jamal
the
was,
best.
yeah.
Fair
But yeah,
enough.
go on.
That's it. I just had to say that. And I think the Nuggets have a really bright future, dude. They have the big I'd say this, they were the thieves of last year's draft. Or last year's they have two solid picks in Michael Porter Jr. and Bol, who I think in 5 years would be insane players. And you put that with Jokic. I think if Michael Porter Jr. was the only guy people would rival to Luka Doncic. He's not obviously Luka's level, but I think if you give him a chance, he can be that player. He can be the X factor for that Denver Nuggets team. You couple him with Jokic and and Jamal Murray and Bol, and then you have players like role players like Jeremy Grant who can give you.
I think there's a lot of
Yeah,
comparisons that can
definitely.
be made between the Nuggets and the Heat. They're both like
Yeah,
fearless
Mhm.
teams. They have multiple players who are willing to take the shot. Like if you look at the Nuggets, it's Michael Porter Jr.'s, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. They're not afraid to take the shot. They just shoot it. Like they just shoot it. I don't know what else to say. And the Heat have the exact same things. I think it's very comparable. And Mike Malone is a very good coach, very underrated coach, I must say.
yeah,
Like not many people
Yeah,
put him in that conversation of being one of the best coaches. But if you think about it, even last season they took the Blazers to Game 7 in the Western Conference semifinals, and this year
mhm.
they reached the Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, I think Nuggets very bright future, and
yeah.
yeah, I think you couldn't dismiss them for the to be one of the best teams in the near future. Uh,
Yeah. I think. Are you waiting for me? Are you waiting for me?
yeah,
Oh,
what
is
else?
it stuck? Oh no, because it got stuck.
You guys, okay.
No, I mean I think you guys covered everything. Um, I have to say Jamal Murray was an absolute superstar in that series against the Lakers, and I felt like the only way we actually ended up stopping him per se was putting LeBron on him, which is a level of respect that he garnered throughout that series.
Yeah,
And one thing I'll say, something Advaita mentioned, if Michael Porter Jr. develops into the scorer he can be, it's scary. Like he made incredibly difficult shots in that series. His IQ isn't his basketball IQ isn't really up there, but his raw talent and his scoring ability is something I actually haven't seen. Like the only players who I can actually see making incredibly tough shots time after time after time like that is Kevin Durant. I'm not comparing them both, but I'm just saying he has the talent to be an
Yeah,
incredible
and
scorer.
also you forgot Goran Dragic against the Celtics. No, not in any other series or against any other team, but just against the Celtics in the conference finals. Otherwise, Goran Dragic is a really good player, but he doesn't make like mad shots from 35 feet out. But okay, whatever. I got to stop being salty. Um, I'm sorry. It comes with the territory. Um, so now that we're talking about teams that have impressed us, let's get to the world champions. Aaron, your Los Angeles Lakers. What do you think? Just your comments on this year's season, the
Uh,
bubble, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, J.R. Smith taking his shirt off before the game, before the game
Before
we
that,
won.
before the
That's pretty funny.
what do you think about
The
Magic
bus we
Johnson's strategy?
what did he say?
He
What did
went
Magic
on. I
Johnson
think he
say?
went on first take and he was like, "Luca, come to come to the Lakers."
Yeah, he said
Oh,
that.
I hope. Imagine. I
Bro,
think
that's stupid. It's,
imagine
I
the
was
year
looking at
LeBron retires, Luca comes to the Lakers.
Yeah, there's no
oh,
way that's
Oh,
happening,
then
dude.
it's then
There's
it's
no
just
way
done. Then
the
it's
play.
just done.
No. Come on. Mavericks players have too much loyalty to Mark Cuban because he
Yeah,
always
yeah,
been
yeah.
scared that this
Mark
is where he's
Cuban
leaving.
wouldn't let that
He's not.
happen. Yeah.
No. Mark Cuban wouldn't let that, but Doncic wouldn't want to sell out Mark Cuban like that because they have a lot of loyalty towards Mark Cuban, don't they?
yeah, that's true.
Because he takes care
You
of
know,
them.
You never know, mate. The Laker
yo,
brand
I
is
heard
No,
just.
LeBron.
no,
I
no,
heard LeBron is recruiting Chris Paul. I just heard.
I don't think that'll happen.
no.
Salary
Yeah, I don't
cap
think
wise, it won't
I
happen.
want it to happen, but it won't happen. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're getting off topic. Aaron, Lakers this season. What do you think?
It was it was extremely good. I think the one I was scared when the bubble first started. I think we all remember the Lakers played incredibly bad, like the first 7 8 games, and I was like, okay, fine. Avery Bradley isn't here. I did not see us getting past the Clippers. I still felt we were good enough to get past everyone else,
Yeah.
and I'm still a little disappointed that we couldn't have that matchup because I still firmly believe that we would have won, irrespective of whether the bubble actually happened or not and whether like games actually proceeded as normally. But I think, yeah, I mean, LeBron and AD, I can go on and on about them. I just think that our third best player, Rondo, was someone who was being criticized for so long, and no one gave him enough credit, including me. Um, but he came in at the start of the, I would say, Houston series, and he's the reason why we actually won because it allowed LeBron to rest, and the second lineup would involve Rondo and Davis, and that lineup was always a net positive for us. And more than that, I think what you saw in the finals, the reason why Miami couldn't even play a zone was because they had players like Rondo and LeBron who just instantly knew what to do. And I think that that level of IQ you have in a team, when you have, I think, Rondo and LeBron in a team, what you're seeing is that, I think Rondo even mentioned this, players who have that high of IQ, it's incredibly hard to beat them 4 times in a row because they know exactly what to prepare for, how much work is required. And I just think, yeah, I'm incredibly happy after all this. I hope we repeat, but it's going to be tough. But I think that LeBron's the best player in the game. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
Everyone should know this
I
by
don't think
now.
anyone was doubting that. I mean, actually, a lot of people were.
A lot of people were.
If you doubt
A
the
lot
LeBron's
of people
if
were.
you doubt the fact that LeBron's the best player in the NBA right now, you're fucking stupid. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I like you should have done it before, and the fact that you're doing if you do it
No,
now, you're just
he deserved the MVP. He
you
would
are
have got my vote.
you are literally delusional if you don't think that LeBron's the best player in the game. Let me tell you that right now. And if you don't think LeBron's the best player in the game, stay on this podcast for a few more times. If you're not convinced by then, just leave because you probably have no brain by then.
You know, but
Yeah.
I will say, the only time I didn't think LeBron was the best player in that league when KD was insane.
But then again,
The,
I remember saying this to you, right? It's
the 2017,
KD
no,
outplayed
2017.
LeBron purely because he had players around him like Steph and Clay and Raymond.
Yeah.
One thing KD, I mean, this is again off topic, but going back to KD and the Eastern Conference, if KD next year shows up and he actually wins the NBA Finals, then we can finally say, okay, fine, you know what? KD's shown to everyone that he can carry a team on his own
Look,
volition
look,
and be
look.
the best player in the NBA.
Here's what
But
I'll say.
as of now, it's LeBron.
No, he's not. I'm
It
not saying
has
he is.
been for the past 10 years, at least.
Yeah, definitely. But here's okay. I'll do before you say anything. Here's what I'll say about. God, we're really getting off topic, aren't we? Okay, listen. We'll talk about the Nets later. Let's talk about the Lakers right now. And I think it's completely fair that we discuss LeBron's legacy. Because this is his fourth championship, fourth Finals MVP, and he came to the Lakers.
Oh, not again, bro. Not
I think.
again.
Come on, hold up. Okay, listen, hold up. Let me get there. Let me get there. Okay, so he came to the Lakers, and this year. I think the Lakers were destined to win the championship after the struggle that franchise went through after the death of Kobe Bryant. I think inside, I'm a Celtics fan. I absolutely despise the Lakers, and
Yeah, but everybody wanted the Lakers to win.
even I was kind of happy that the Lakers won because I felt like it was only right for that for this season that they do it for Kobe, you know. But LeBron James, Finals MVP, should have been MVP. I mean, come on, he's 35 years old. Is LeBron James the greatest player of
Wait,
all time?
no, no,
Don't do this.
I'm not
Don't
He
do
debating
is,
this.
this.
in my opinion,
I'm not debating this.
in my opinion,
It's
in my okay, listen.
okay.
Just no need to debate it.
Oh, wait. Are we actually having this debate, or are we
No,
just
no.
mentioning
No,
We're
it?
not having this debate because
I'm not having
Okay,
this
listen, when
cool.
debate
Adu
again.
and I have this debate, guys, we cannot do this. We cannot do this here. We cannot
We're
do
not
this
having this
now.
debate.
We need a separate episode for it, okay? But here's what
We're
I'll
not
say.
having this debate.
I'm just gonna ask you guys a question, a short justification, and that's enough. Is LeBron James the greatest player of all time? I'll give you my answer first. I think even before this, he's the greatest player of all time. I just think LeBron James is he's just different. He's like a mold of like Magic Johnson and he honestly like a mold between Magic Johnson. He's like nothing we've ever seen. I can't even tell you who he's a mold of. He's very similar to Magic Johnson because of his passing ability and his size. But I mean, with his strength, his ability to shoot, drive, finish at the paint, post up, defend, uh, I think he's the greatest player of all time. And no knock on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was great, but I'm always gonna think that LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. Yeah. What do you guys think? Okay, you know what, Adwaita, you don't even need to answer this. I know Adwaita thinks Michael Jordan is the best player of all time. Whatever. Aaron,
Let him justify
fine,
because
fine,
I mean
fine, fine.
I think
I'll
it's
justify. I've
fair.
justified it
Both
too
answers
many
are fair.
times now. I'm like
Yeah, the thing
tired
is,
of it.
I think all three of us have had internal arguments like this on our own, like multiple times. So I know what your argument's gonna be, but then
Yeah, but I
we'll say.
see. This is what I will say, right? He's not yet the greatest player of all time, but he has a huge chance to catch Michael Jordan. That's all I'm gonna say. And the other thing I'm gonna say is, no disrespect to Kareem, but when it's all said and done, I think LeBron is gonna have the best career, basketball, best
100%.
basketball career
100%.
of all time. LeBron James.
But the funny thing about LeBron James' career, we look at Kareem's career, and we say it's the greatest of all time. Including high school and college, and 4 years of college, 4 years of high school, and then 20 years in the NBA. For LeBron, like it's just a 4 year gap in the middle. Like there's no college, there's nothing there, and we still think he's gonna have the greatest career of all time. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about LeBron. Like who taught this dude the game? Like Michael Jordan had Dean Smith at University of North Carolina. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had John Wooden, one of the greatest coaches ever. These dudes have legendary coaches teaching them the game. LeBron James was a genius when he entered high school,
Yeah.
and you just don't know where it came from. He's never had great coach. I think Frank Vogel, apart from Spo, obviously he might be the best coach he's ever had, and and I mean, you just
Yeah.
don't know where this knowledge of the game comes from. And even Spo is primarily a defensive coach, isn't he? So you really don't know where the
But
knowledge of the game comes from. He's
I
just a
thought Vogel
genius.
was LeBron's best defensive coach so far.
You could be right, but yeah, that's what I'll say. It's just a
I
massive
think it's a
gap in the
perfect
middle.
match. I think it's a perfect match.
Exactly, Aaron. Um,
Uh, to, I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate this debate. Like I hate it because it's. I think it's unfair to have this debate because we would never know, and I think it's very opinionated, and both your answers make sense.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm obviously a LeBron fan. LeBron's my favorite player of all time. Um, I think he's the most complete player of all time. I think he can do whatever you want, and this is something I heard from Colin Coward as well. I think this is the most valid statement one could actually make. I think LeBron's the greatest foundational piece of all time, and what that means is you put LeBron on a team, he has the greatest chance of elevating his teammates around him and making that team a playoff team. Look at what he's done with Miami, or Cleveland, and LA. He's done it with three separate franchises, and he's made them champions, which is unheard of. But what I will say is the reason why I think he's the reason why he's my favorite player of all time and why I like him is because he plays the game the way I like to play the game, which is he loves passing. He's a passing first guy. I know people kill him for not having that Jordan or Kobe mentality to just take the last shot, especially like what we saw in that final series with the Danny Green game.
Jay Williams.
But
Yeah.
I just think I think it's unfair to have to make this comparison because I feel
I've
like
never seen Michael play.
if you're on one side, you won't sway.
Yeah.
It's very opinionated, and I feel like it depends on the way you see the game.
Okay,
And
here can I just say one thing about the whole green shot controversy?
That was a stupid
I
argument
think
to
it's
make.
absolutely ridiculous and stupid to criticize LeBron for that. Even
I 1000% agree.
Michael Jordan passed it to John Paxson and he passed it to Steve Kerr,
Exactly.
but they made the shot. And you can't
Yeah.
blame you can't blame LeBron James for passing it to Danny Green, who's a two-time champion, by the way. Two-time champion, great shooter, played for the greatest coach of all time, again, in my opinion, in Greg Popovich. And then he went and won a championship last season with Kawhi Leonard, right?
And then he went and won the championship this season.
Yeah, so I think that blaming LeBron because Danny Green didn't make that shot is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think you guys both agree with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I remember talking to this about at Veta, and I remember him saying that if
If
he
I was
wanted
LeBron,
LeBron
I
to
would have done.
drive in and shoot,
Yeah. But that's
but
again
it's
how
one
I like
thousand
it.
percent the right play. You
Yeah.
can't criticize him for making the right play to a 3 point specialist.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't a
Yeah, no,
specialist
it's
in the finals, but
100%. It
then
was the
he's
right.
known
It
for
was
being a
the right
specialist.
basketball play. It was the right basketball play. So you can't criticize him.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. Like people could. Okay, like I don't know why. The thing that pissed me off was people criticized Danny Green so much. Like this dude got dead. Like that's one shot. He missed one shot, and he was lights out the next game, which they
Yeah,
won.
He was on lights out. He
he was really
played really
good.
hard. He was on lights out. He was good. He
He
was
made
good.
like three, four threes. He missed.
I think he scored like 9 points, 11 points.
Yeah, he made three threes, and he took like five or six of them, which he normally takes. And dude, he's been a career 40% plus shooter in the playoffs. He has the third or fourth highest playoff 3 point percentage in the NBA all time.
Yeah.
He's in that top five. Steph Curry isn't in that top five list. But Steph Curry has played way less games. That's not the point. But I'm just saying,
I
he's a
think
great shooter.
D Dodge is a LeBron guy.
Yeah.
I'll do it a Jordan guy, and I'm in between. I just say it's impossible to make the comparison. I think we should acknowledge them for
Yeah.
both of them
No, I
being
understand. I
the
understand.
greatest in us, the greatest in basketball,
What
undoubtedly
if
in my opinion. I mean, you can't argue that both of them are the two best of all time. And I think I feel like me and D-Dodge have view the game the same way. And Adu is the kind of person who has a score first mentality. And I think that's the reason why also he prefers players like Kobe and Jordan, which is again
I think it's
completely
fair. It's fair
fine.
enough. We're gonna argue about this like a lot the next chance we have to, right? But I can't say, like, I might insult you in the process, but I can't say that I don't know where you're coming from, because I get it. I get what you mean. And so so that's the Lakers have been amazing. Um, I think that the Lakers are again the favorites of the championship next season again. Um, so I think who do you guys think are the favorites of the championship next season?
Favorites or who do you think is gonna win?
I think, yeah, even I have different answers for those two, but I think that let's
Yeah, I
talk
have
about.
different answers for those two. Same.
Okay,
I
fine.
think Lakers
Let me say it first. Okay, I think the Lakers are the favorites, but I think that the Golden State Warriors are going to win.
Warriors, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I think the Warriors are going to win again.
You're both picking the Warriors.
Yeah, but I'm picking the Warriors. I'm not picking against.
Um, I see your point. I definitely do think that they are. I think they're the second best team in the league. No, second best team in the West. Um, I think, but the thing is, I feel like the Lakers are a bad matchup for them, especially if you have Avery Bradley. And I think
That's true.
there's no one who's going to guard Anthony Davis on that team. Trust me on that. No one can guard Anthony Davis, especially.
No, hold up.
putting Draymond Green.
What if they pick James Wiseman in the draft? They have the number to
He's
pick.
a rookie. He's a rookie.
He's a rookie, but
I know they might pick him purely for that reason because a player like Anthony Davis and Jokic exist in the Western Conference, and they'll have to get through players like that. But
no, but a
you
rookie
can't
coming
expect
in,
a rookie to be a
a rookie,
game-changing piece for you.
a rookie coming into a winning culture is it's much different from a rookie being drafted by, I don't know, the Knicks. You like James Wiseman being drafted by the Knicks and being drafted by the Heat or by the Warriors is completely different. And he could have
No
that
disrespect to anybody being drafted by
I
the Knicks.
agree with you. I completely agree with you. But what you're saying is you believe that drafting a player like Wiseman is enough to stop players like
No, no,
Anthony
no.
Not
Okay.
Davis.
stop, not stop, but contain.
Okay.
Here's what I'd say. Yeah,
Nobody's containing him, Dheeraj.
but
Nobody's containing him.
okay, but
Actually,
The
but
only the only way the only way you can trap Anthony Davis, sorry to interrupt you,
double team.
is if you make him pass.
Yeah.
You have to make him pass. Because the only flaw in his game right now is that he isn't a
He's
good
not.
enough passer. Everything else
Yo,
is
I seriously like that series just proved me he made a great case for being top 3 player in the league, dude. I'm not even kidding.
fair
He
enough.
made a great case.
but
That
I see both your points. I see both your points. And I think two of you are two of the few who actually believe that they're gonna win. And that's and for good reason because they deserve to be up on a pedestal again.
Also,
I just hope the Clippers figure it out. 'Cause they were my pick to win the championship this year, and they obviously we all know
yeah,
what
I
happened.
want that to be like a good competition there. That would be fun. But Aaron, who do you think are the favorites to win next? So who do you think will win next year? Not the favorites. I think you also think the Lakers are the favorites.
Yeah, I think favorites we all agree that's the Lakers.
Lakers. I
Um,
was gonna say the Lakers gonna win again.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
hope,
completely
but
plausible. It's completely plausible that they win
Yeah,
again.
100%, 100%.
I just think I still believe that the Clippers are the most talented team in the league
Yeah.
by far. They honestly they should have won the season. They should have
Talented.
won. I
I think
expect.
no. I think the Celtics are the most talented team in the league. Like I think next year,
No,
the
no,
thing is next year now a player like Kemba Walker who's never played like beyond the first round before now has experience of playing in the conference finals.
Nah,
I think we have the
no one
most
on the
talented
Celtics
team.
team is.
I think no, we have a lot of player of experience, dude. Okay, not a lot, but I think we have
No,
a good
no.
amount of player of
I
experience.
said no one on the team is on a similar wavelength to Kawhi.
I think
That's my only.
I think Jason Tatum is going to be a top 10 player in the
If
league
he
next year.
makes that leap, then for sure. But I
not
felt
now.
he had that month in the regular season where he was insane.
Yeah.
And if he was playing like that, then 1000% I agree with you. But the Clippers, the reason why they were picked to win the season was because they had the most talented team. They
And they
had
had
the
the best
deepest
bench
team.
depth
It's just that
wise.
like their culture and their mentality was extremely whack. It
Yeah.
was really bad. And if they sort that out,
I
then they
hope
have
they
a
do.
chance.
But then
And I think
I don't think Toronto Lue's gonna change. I don't know. I just hope he changes. I
Okay,
don't think he's
anyway, I
gonna.
think this is a nice segue to talk about the Clippers. Like what the hell is going
wait,
on
wait.
there?
I'm gonna pick.
Sure.
Oh, why? I don't know. I'm not gonna pick the
We'll
Clippers.
just
I'm
pick the
not gonna
Lakers.
pick the Clippers. I don't want to pick the Lakers because I don't want to jinx myself.
But then pick the Warriors. Nobody
I'm
cares
gonna
about the
pick the
Warriors.
Nets.
Ah,
No,
okay.
I'm not gonna pick the Nets. I'm gonna pick the Celtics.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Pick the
I'm picking
Nets.
the
Come
Celtics.
on.
I'm picking the Celtics, but I think the Nets are gonna be a flop because
Yeah, I think that
I
Kyrie
don't
can
see what
destroy.
defense they
I
have.
think Kyrie can absolutely destroy the culture of that franchise like he did with the Celtics. I don't think Kyrie can be a piece on a championship team. He either has to elevate himself to be the best player in the league and then he can win a championship on his own.
All he
I don't
has to
think
have LeBron.
I do not think he can be the second best player on a championship team. It's impossible. He thinks he's better than he is. That's what I'd say about Kyrie. He's insane player. But he's not the number one piece. He's not a leader. He doesn't have that kind of mentality and ability you need to be able to lead a team to the championship. And we saw that with the Celtics. We reached the conference finals without him, and we got knocked out in 5 in the conference semifinals with him. I think that's all there is to be said
You are
about the
better without it.
Clippers. Okay,
You
now,
better.
yeah, I think let's get to the Clippers right now because the Clippers, by far, in my opinion, were the biggest disappointment in the NBA this year. The fact that they didn't even make it to the conference finals, and they fucking blew it. That's what they did. I mean, for being perfectly candid here, I think that
But they nearly blew it every single series.
yeah, no, they
That's the funny part.
yeah, but the thing is, Paul George. See, Paul George he was an MVP candidate last season. I mean, last to last season, right? He was, I think, for his third in MVP, he was insane. But this dude just does not cut it when it comes to the playoffs. He just for some reason he just can't make it happen. I mean, I think he's been to the conference finals with the Pacers against the Miami Heat in like more than 5 6 years ago. But I mean, since then, what has he done in the playoffs? He doesn't seem to have the ability to turn up in the playoffs. I think Kawhi's Kawhi. He had a bad game 7, but I think he'll be back by
I
season.
think he just had a bad Nuggets playoffs.
We don't
I mean,
have
after game 2.
No,
see
he
the
had
thing.
a bad game. I think he was pretty good
Yeah, the thing
throughout.
is, we
He
don't
was
have
decent.
doubts. We don't have doubts about Kawhi's ability to perform in the playoffs. He's a two-time
Mhm.
Finals MVP, two-time champion. You can't doubt his his
Yeah.
credibility and
So
his
he shows up when he shows up when it's required.
exactly. So I think you can't doubt Kawhi, but I think you could definitely doubt Paul George.
Paul George. Yeah,
Oh, by the
that's
way,
fine.
I'm changing. I'm picking the Lakers. I was thinking about I'm picking the Lakers, guys.
Nice, nice,
We'll
nice.
stick with the Nets,
Uh,
man.
okay, yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Clippers, they have great depth. I just think that their mentality killed them, and either they were too overconfident or they had some management issues. I don't know what the problem is, but yeah, I just think they were. I think coming into the bubble, they didn't show any great signs of being the number one team in the league. But I don't know. Everybody just thought that because of the battles they had with the Lakers, people automatically thought that just because it's so close, and if it goes to a game 7, then heck, it's anybody's game, right? You don't have to be a better team to win that game. So I think that's what a lot of, and that's what I hoped for as not a, like, I wasn't a Clippers fan, but whatever. The only reason I said the Clippers would win was because I knew it would go to game 7 if they did play, and then anybody can win. So I thought I mean, Clippers could win if it's their day on their given day. I think they're the best team, but you know I think yeah, it was just getting over that mentality, and then I don't know. Doc Rivers has some kind of uh, allergy to getting past to getting a win in a game 7 when it matters. I don't know what his issue is, but he can never get his team over the hump game 7.
Yo,
I think he was
don't
lucky when
disrespect,
he
bro.
won
He
the
won us a
championship with the
championship.
Celtics.
He won us a championship.
He was lucky when he won the championship with you guys. He was extremely lucky.
What do you mean lucky? Oh, in terms of the players he had.
Everything worked in his way. Everything worked his favor.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess you're right then, but he
Um.
was also a major part of it. But okay, sorry. Yeah, Aaron, sorry. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just
No,
saying.
no,
I
I
complete
got
the
what I was
team
saying.
for the Clippers. Organized. There should be some organizational changes. Teron Lue. I don't know how. I don't know what. I don't think he's any knock on Doc Rivers as a coach. So I don't know how they're gonna help. I think I read somewhere that Chris Paul might come to the Clippers if he is
There's
to
no way
prove.
that's happening. There is zero.
If that happens, then
I
If
they're
think
that
it's
happens, then yeah, 1000%, it's the
absolute
Clippers.
balls. There is no way that Chris Paul comes back to the Clippers. I'm
But
sorry.
there's no money, right? So it can't happen.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
he's not.
Um.
He's not gonna stay. I don't think he's gonna stay in Oklahoma too much.
No, no. Here's the thing. I don't
He'll
think the
get
Clippers.
traded.
I don't think the Clippers actually need a change in terms of the players they have. I think maybe if they bring in a player like say um if they like Derrick Rose or Rondo, like one of the, I think a really good point guard who's a proper facilitator and who can control the game and score a bit as well. I think that's the only piece they need. I think apart from that, I think the Clippers will be completely fine. I just think they had a bad time. Paul George needs to find a way to elevate himself in the playoffs, and if he does that, I think the Clippers will have a very good chance of winning the championship
Yeah,
next season.
yeah,
Okay,
contending for it.
definitely. Okay, guys. So,
I disagree with you slightly.
oh shit.
I,
Okay.
I I'm gonna make it short, but I think they do need a point guard. Like
Yeah.
you said it's not necessary that they get one, but I think like I don't think Kawhi showed up defensively. Like I was watching him play defensively, and he
Oh, he
wasn't as
switched a lot. He switched a lot. That
exactly. And we give credit to Kawhi that he is the best defender in our game, but he wasn't guarding their best players that often, right? Am I mistaken?
yeah.
Yeah, I think you're
No,
right. Even if I remember one moment that sticks out to me, was the Luka Doncic game winner. Where he sent out Reggie
Mhm.
Jackson to go out and guard Luka Doncic for that shot when we all know it should have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
Kawhi there. So I think that's a fair argument to make. But I think I
I
think
personally,
I think they'll find a way to make it work.
yeah, they will. I think it's
yeah,
just a
they do have the best team. Personally, if I would like for them to get another initiator for the offense, I like Kawhi playing more off a point guard so that he can give. Although he's a superstar, I like him giving his best on the defensive end as well. But I just think, yeah, more than anything, it's the mentality, like you guys mentioned. It's nothing else. And if they can get over that hump,
yeah.
then yeah, they're a championship contender for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, I think we don't have much time left, so I don't think we'll probably discuss like football and the IPL in another podcast. But let me ask you guys a few like a short quick fire round. Okay, So, what do you guys think was the best moment in this year's bubble? Actually, no, playoffs. Let's restrict it that. What do you guys think was the best moment in this year's playoffs?
J.R. Smith taking a shot off when the buzzer sounded, and when we all celebrated.
Um, I mean, okay, if I could go next, I think the best moment in the playoffs this year was I think it was Anthony Davis game winner. Yeah, I think that was the best moment of
When
the
he
playoffs.
screamed Kobe. Yeah.
Yep, I think that was the best moment in this year's playoffs.
Yeah, I would either I don't want to be a copycat, so I'm gonna say Jamal Murray's ridiculous layup.
Oh,
Ooh,
this one.
Oh yeah.
bam.
That was
Oh
bro,
my
that
god.
had some MJ sauce to it.
Man
That's a
looked like
shout.
Michael
That's a shout.
Jordan on that layup, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
Good
moment. Bro,
shout.
oh
Good
my god.
shout.
I lost my shit when I saw that. I was like, holy shit, he didn't do this.
Yeah. Okay.
I think my honest answer should actually be something of I think the BAM block. Sorry, Neeraj, but the BAM
Fair.
block was
Okay. Like,
insane.
yeah, cool.
I think
I give you a moment of the Lakers, and then you go next and give us a moment that happened against
I
them.
think
Thanks,
Bam
Aaron.
announced himself with
Very
that
cool,
block.
Aaron.
I'm just
Thank you.
saying.
We appreciate that, Aaron.
What Tyler Hero? I thought, what about Tyler Hero's snarl, bro? He hit that and he thinks he's
Hey,
the
come on,
champion.
man. He got
He
absolutely.
lost after that. He lost after
Yeah,
that.
He didn't
yeah,
just
but
lose after that. He got absolutely destroyed after that by LeBron. Right? Just pushed off.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
pushed off
oh,
the
dude,
top.
that was abuse, man.
Yeah, I don't know any person in that good man who would get in front of LeBron for a talk, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how you would do that, but
Kyle
okay.
Lowry.
Okay, yeah, that's Kyle Lowry.
Yeah,
My
I'd back him
God.
to take the charge.
Oh my God, Kyle Lowry. Oh.
Dude, Kyle
Okay,
Lowry can take charges from Zion.
okay, let's not get carried away. Okay, okay. Best performance in this year's playoffs. Okay, I'll go first again. Um, I think there's two options. I think they're both 40-point triple doubles. One by Jimmy Butler and one by Luka Doncic against the Clippers when he hit the game winner also. Yeah, I think it's one of those two. I can't. I'd probably say Butler because of like the occasion, the moment. You know.
Yeah, I'll say Butler too. Game 3.
Yeah.
Or
Um,
Jamal's 40-point game.
Oh, what about
against two. He had like multiple games like that.
no? I tell you,
40
no. I'll tell you what the best moment of the playoffs. The best moment of the playoffs was when both Donovan and Murray scored 50 in the same game. Oh my God, that game was
I didn't
insane.
watch that game.
Yeah,
So
that was
like,
good.
I
That was
watched
cool.
I watched the end of that
No,
game.
no.
And it was so they were just going back and forth. It was like bucket, 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 bucket. I was the same dude scoring every single time, and it was
But
just
I will say, no. I think Jimmy Butler's was probably the best
fair enough.
performance.
As performance,
yeah, I
yeah, I have
think
to say Butler.
Butler. Yeah, Butler.
Who
But
was
I'm gonna pick. Oh, I no, I'll pick game three. I thought game five was equally insane because LeBron was going at him as well.
yep. Uh,
So it's one of those games.
what was the best? What was the best game in the playoffs this year?
Best game in the playoffs.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Even I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay,
I'm in.
I'm gonna
Okay.
be. Okay.
It's been 2 games for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm thinking about the same two games, but I'm thinking about two games too. I think for me it is probably OKC Rockets Game 7. I'm sorry, but that game was insane. That game was so good. Houston OKC Game 7 was an absolutely incredible game. And James Harden's play at the end. I know it's just the first round, but James Harden, that was one of the most clutch defensive plays I've ever seen. It was so.
But
It was
you know what?
insane. It was
Screw Jimmy Butler. You know, I'm gonna stick up for Chris Paul had the best performance in the playoffs. Triple double. He was 36.
Oh, shut up, man.
okay. Let's not take it too far. But in my opinion,
Come on. He's my
Nah,
favorite player.
no. Okay, fine. Okay, it's your opinion, so okay, we'll take that. But I think for me, the best game was OKC Rockets Game 7. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
100%.
I know it's
For
just
me-
first round, but it's my opinion. So I'm just
For
gonna.
me, it was either between OKC Houston or it was sorry, Dheeraj, but it was the Miami Celtics, the Bam block game. One of the two.
Weren't
But
there
I
like a
think
lot of
I
good Toronto
enjoyed
Boston
watching
games?
every single game
There
of
was
the
like one Toronto Boston game which was considered the best game to playoffs.
Game 7. Game 7 was. Game 7 was
I
amazing.
think
And game
I don't
obviously,
know.
obviously game three where our man OG Anunoby hit that buzzer beater with 0.5 seconds on the clock. That was a good game. But yeah,
You just
I
say, "Oh man."
not our man as in sarcastically, man, not
Oh,
seriously.
okay, okay. I thought you actually knew. I'm like, what the I mean, see, I haven't watched all the games. I didn't watch as much as I wanted to, but from a Lakers perspective, it was, I think, the Lakers Heat game five. That was an
Well,
insane game. It was LeBron versus Jimmy. Um, but best game, yeah, I would have to say it was one of those Toronto Boston games. I think it was I think an overtime or double overtime. It was one of
double
those
over,
games where,
yeah, double overtime. Yeah, I think
yeah, yeah.
I forgot whether we won or they won. I don't. I think they won.
I think you won. I
No, no,
think
we
you won.
won. No, 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 they won. They won. If you remember.
You won?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
Toronto
because
won
after
the
the game,
clutch.
after
Toronto
the game,
always won the clutch.
after the no, but all they won the clutch except game seven. Game seven we took in the clutch. Okay, I'm gonna
Uh,
ask you guys this question
Oh yeah,
because
that game was good.
my answer is one of the plays from game seven of Toronto Boston. What was the best play in this year's playoffs? Okay, I'll start. I think it was Marcus Smart's block on uh, I think it was Nick Powell in game seven. That was one of the most
Norman
clutch.
Powell.
Yeah,
Norman
on
Powell.
call. What's his name?
Norman,
Norman
Norman
Powell.
Powell.
Norman Powell, not Nick Powell. Sorry, Norman Powell. My bad. Yeah, I think that was the most clutch play, best play of this year's playoffs. Obviously, I'm a Celtics fan and biased, so you could probably say AD shot or
Yeah.
Bam's block, but I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want
80,
to sound too biased also, so I want to pick
80
something
game
else.
winner. 80's game
Um,
winners.
I'm gonna pick Jamal's layup just for best play and
Best
like
play.
I
Oh, are we
agree.
doing best play or
best
most
moment.
clutch play?
I think that's
I
fair.
think that was the best play.
Oh yeah,
That
100%.
layup was
Jamal layup is the best play in the
incredibly,
playoffs. Yeah, 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 100%.
incredibly
Don't
insane.
get
No,
me
no, no.
wrong.
I think the best play might have been Doncic's buzzer beater.
Nah,
It was a buzzer
dude,
beater, dude.
Jamal's
There's a
layup is
difference.
special.
No, but then if you're picking that, why wouldn't you pick the 81?
Nah, because
So
Doncic
like
was
I feel like a buzzer
Doncic
beater
because
was.
Doncic is firstly second year player in the league. It was against the Clippers. All the chips were down against
To be
them,
fair,
and
he hit the
he hit it
thing
from like
deeper.
40 feet out, dude. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, he hit a deep three.
Yeah. So, but okay,
Yeah,
Jamal Murray's layup, I get the one, but he just did some magic in the
Yeah,
air.
he made dosa in the
I
air.
thought it was I thought it was better than MJ for a second, man. I'm like,
Yeah, same. Everybody thought they were.
because it was over two defenders. It was over LeBron and I think JaVale or something.
Yeah, yeah,
It
and he
was.
It
just
was
put it
over
up.
both of them.
It was.
And
It was.
LeBron's extremely good at blocking from both sides.
I don't know how the hell he got that in. Man, remember Derek Rose used to make these kind of layups.
Ah man, but I think Derek Rose. I hope he has a good. I love Derek Rose. I hope he has a good season next. I don't think if
No,
anybody hates
I have a question.
Mhm.
But continue.
if anybody hates Derek Rose, they're delusional. By the way. Sorry, yeah, I don't know your question. Aaron,
Name one massive trade you think will happen that
one
will
massive.
maybe that will maybe offset the parity in the league. That might happen this season. Or maybe name one that you would want to happen this season.
What I want to see happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has to be slightly realistic as well.
Okay. I want to see. Okay. Actually need to research this. Hold on. I want to see because this is a play I really want to see. This is a trade I really want to see happen. Uh,
I'll say mine while you research.
cool.
I want Chris Paul to go to the box
Yeah, that would be mine. That's mine too. Yeah,
because
100%.
I think
That'll
that will
happen.
make the Bucks the best team in the East, and I think it will make them more competitive against a team like the Clippers, Warriors, or Lakers.
Okay.
I think
Wait.
yeah, yeah,
I will tell you. Uh,
because they don't have a half court offense, so Chris Paul's gonna help them,
Mm-hmm.
and then Chris Middleton will get up more shots, more catch and shoots. Yeah,
You just have to be honest, I feel like he'll have less pressure to like create, and I don't think he's that good of a creator in
okay.
the
This
first
is
place.
what I'll
yeah,
say.
exactly.
The Rockets trade
Yo,
The 2022, they're all in right now. So I don't care about their future. They trade that 2022 first round pick, 2023 first round pick, Robert Covington, and another good young player for Joel Embiid. That's what I want to see happen.
Okay. Yeah.
So you want
They
Westbrook,
could be a
Harden,
really
and
good
Embiid?
team.
Yep, I do.
Westbrook and
Wouldn't
Embiid on the same.
Philadelphia want something else? They would want at least one of Harden or Westbrook. I don't think they want Westbrook. I think they'll want Harden at least. There's no way they trade Embiid without getting someone like Harden, in my opinion.
Yeah, but listen, I think the Sixers would be crazy to trade Joel Embiid. I think they should trade Ben Simmons before they trade Joel Embiid because I think if you pitch their potential, I think
Really?
Ben Joel Embiid will be, as long as he lives up to his potential. Like, dude, against the Celtics in the first round, he had one of the. I know he was swept 4-0, but he had an amazing series. Like, he played so well. And actually did what he was supposed to do. He didn't go out and start shooting jumpers. He went out occasionally and he made a few shots, but he was in the post. He was backing down, playing good defense, and he was good that series. I think the Sixers absolutely fucked up. They had a really good situation last year. They
The Sixers have always had chemistry problems, man. It
Yeah,
just
but
comes down to
that's what I say. I think I want to see Joel Embiid go to a.
a good team.
I feel that Joel Embiid should stay with the Sixers because I
What if
think.
he goes to Boston? That's
Oh,
unlikely
dude,
though.
yeah, dude, that's.
Then it's a
I'm
wrap. Then
sorry.
it's a
Hold up,
wrap.
hold up. I'm sorry. That's the trade I want to see happen. Joel Embiid to
Or
Boston.
who
Nah, but the
or who
76.
goes there? Who goes on the other
I don't
side?
care anybody. No,
Everyone but
except
JT. It'll be
except
JT.
no,
It
no,
will be
no, no Jalen
JT,
Brown, no Jalen
Embiid,
Brown,
and then it'll be Dino, Jaren, and Weather.
no Jalen Brown. I want
The other
Jalen
three
Brown.
players.
I don't want Jalen Brown going anywhere. I think everyone criminally underrates Jalen Brown.
Oh yeah,
But
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but who else could they
I
trade? I mean,
wouldn't, honestly speaking.
I expect Tatum. I
No,
Nah,
swear
you
this
can't
is.
trade
no,
KD.
I'm no. I was gonna say Kemba, but then I think we need Kemba's a really good player. I don't want to see Kemba
Oh,
go.
what's the point of getting a big man without a point guard?
No, but the thing is, we have so many perimeter players. It's just everyone standing on the 3 point line and no one on the inside. And I mean, Robert Williams is good. Daniel Tice is very good. He's very serviceable, above average. He's very good. But Joel Embiid would change the game. But okay, Aaron, you made me dream, and I know it's not gonna happen. But you made me dream, and if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna blame you for that. Okay, guys. So last question before we wrap up. Um, like obviously the Packers are playing right now, so I got to watch the game. By the way,
It's Brady. It's Brady versus
Brady versus Rogers.
Rodgers.
The GOAT versus Brady.
Versus the
Um,
goat.
no, it's no, it's the GOAT. It's the GOAT versus Brady. That's who it is.
The goat versus the boat.
Yeah, that's true. That's what everyone's been saying. But I think it's the GOAT.
You
versus
know,
Brady. I think
in
it's the.
2012, Pat Riley used to call LeBron the boat. Fun fact.
Yeah, could you disagree with him?
In
Okay, guys.
2012, imagine that.
Last question, and it's a two-part question. Best and worst player of the playoffs. I'll go first. I think the best player in these playoffs has been. Hmm, I think best player of the playoffs. Ooh, this is a tough one. Bro, Aaron Rodgers just ran in for a touchdown. I love this guy. Okay, so
I thought you said Aaron Rodgers for a second.
no, Aaron Rodgers ran in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I'm watching the celebration right now. I'm loving it. But okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll get. Sorry, let me come back to the point. I'm sorry, but I think the best player in this playoffs is probably either Jamal Murray or I think Jimmy Butler. Even though the averages weren't great, I think he was playing so well. Um, and I think the worst player in the playoffs was. This is a tough one. I think it's either Paul George. Yeah, it's Paul George.
Yeah, it is Paul George. I think all of us are gonna say the worst player in the playoffs is Paul George. I'd say Jamal. I think overall playoffs, Jamal.
Don't you have to pick a champion?
No, but
Don't you have to pick one of LeBron or AD?
No,
No,
you
no, yeah,
can. No, if you do,
Yes.
there's nothing like I completely get it if you do. But for me, I'd say
I just wanted to pick Jamal because I thought he was
I
average.
think the most surprising player was Jamal or Jimmy. I think that's what I would say. I would say best player, in my opinion, would be the player who I would want the most.
Okay, then,
My
listen.
God.
Then
This
it's
is the same
LeBron.
thing. No. You can't say this, okay? Because the same argument for MVP. By this reasoning, MVP should go to LeBron every season.
Yeah, but
You can't do
we
that.
all know the MVP argument is stupid. MVP doesn't actually go to the best player. It goes to the person with the best narrative or the best stats. I don't know how it's actually done, but then
Yeah, it's true.
it's
Aaron
not the best
Rodgers.
player.
Oh, listen, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the last of our NBA question. I think we need to talk about the NFL really quickly because the game's going on. But Aaron Rodgers, dude, this dude has been on a tear. Oh my God, it's just one of the
He's not.
best things.
He's still not the favorite to win MVP though.
He should be. He should be. I
No.
get Russell Wilson's having a great season, but if you look at the stats, Russell Wilson has a passer rating of 1 point. Like Aaron Rodgers is 128.4, Russell Wilson's 129.8. But
No, I thought Aaron Rodgers had the highest QB rating
QBR,
of.
that's this is passer rating. QBR, Aaron Rodgers is 92.8, much higher than Russell Wilson. It's the highest ever over the first four
Yeah.
games of a season by any quarterback.
Yeah.
But this is what I'd say. Aaron Rodgers has 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and Russell Wilson has 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Which one would you rather have? Which one would you rather have? Think about it.
Well, I would say Russell Wilson.
Oh, come on, man. I know Aaron doesn't watch much NFL, but
He's been
I'm
unhinged.
Yeah, both of you know more, but then I watched a little bit, but I'm gonna have to go for my namesake.
nice. I love you, Aaron. Love you, Aaron. Like, this is
Gonna
actually
have to
one of
go
the
with.
one of the biggest reasons I actually love Aaron is because of Aaron Rodgers, and it goes the other way around as well. Oh, guys.
Mate, that's disrespectful.
think-
You
I
mentioned
think
you mentioned it the other way. Oh, I'm leaving this goal.
No,
Oh
the
my
other
God.
way. No, it's one of the biggest reasons I love Aaron Rodgers because of Aaron. That's what I said.
You realize
Yeah.
Russell Wilson has never won a single MVP vote.
Yeah, that's stupid. He's gonna get MVP votes this year for sure, but I still think so far Aaron Rodgers is MVP. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. If you stayed till now, you're one of two things. You're either one of our very best
You're a
friends,
real one.
or you have absolutely nothing to
You
do.
have too much time on your hands.
You have too much time in your
and,
hands. But thank you so much for sticking around. This has been me, Aaron, Adwaita, the Full Court Press Podcast. Hopefully, we'll be back with another episode. Obviously, it's getting more and more sporadic because of college, but it is what it is. We still love doing this, and we will do it whenever we have the opportunity to. So, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you
like,
later.
subscribe, and
Like,
comment, and
comment, subscribe.
road to 1 million subscribers.
Yeah. What Aaron said. What Aaron said. That. Okay. Okay. See you guys.
We'll see you in 2100.
You.